Hello everybody! Welcome to my first Hanafuda related video. So today, I'm going to teach you guys how to play Mushi, which is a Hanafuda card game from the Kansai region of Japan. For those who don't know, Hanafuda is a Japanese card deck consisting of 48 cards with images of flowers on them. The cards can be classified into suits or ranks. A suit is represented by one of the 12 types of flowers on each card, which correspond to one of the 12 months. Knowing by heart which flower represents which month, Hanafuda cards can be used in place of cards that have numbers on them. Now, a rank of a card is represented by an animal or object on the card, or lack thereof, in addition to the flower. The lowest ranking are the junks, which have nothing else other than the flower. Next are the scrolls, which have scrolls. Next are the animals, and then finally, the brights, which are the highest rank. For a beginner, there is no clear distinction between animals and brights since both ranks have either special objects or animals on them. You have to remember which are the 5 brights. They are the crane, the curtain, the full moon, the rain man, and the phoenix. There is also a special looking red card that depicts a storm. Is it a bright too? Nope, it's a junk of willow. Now these are the elements of the cards, so let's get on with learning how to play the game. First off, we will not be using all 48 cards of a Hanafuda deck. All 4 penny cards and bush clover cards are taken out of the deck, reducing the number of cards to 40. A little side trivia. Did you know that there do exist Hanafuda decks that are specially made for playing Mushi? Oh, you might be asking, why would you want to buy a deck for playing Mushi? The design is not at all that different from a normal Hanafuda deck. You can just use a normal Hanafuda deck and set aside the cards that will not be used, right? Well, Hanafuda cards are thick, and so removing 8 cards from the deck significantly decreases its height, which can feel a little bit weird when you Hindu shuffle it. So in these special mushi-bana decks, the cards were made thicker. So even when there are only 40 cards, when stacked side by side with a normal Hanafuda deck, the height of the decks are about the same. So it feels like a normal deck when you Hindu shuffle it. We will be using a mushi-bana deck that's made by Nintendo. Yeah! Nintendo made all sorts of Hanafuda variants for different regions in Japan. They are the king of cards. And despite being a card manufacturer in Kyoto, they even went and adopted the design features of Hanafuda that were made in Osaka for their mushi-bana deck to differentiate the deck from a normal Hanafuda deck. That's pretty cool. But we're getting off track here. Let's learn how to play the game. If you know how to play Koi Koi or Hawaiian Hanafuda, then you will find the gameplay to be quite familiar. If you don't, it's okay. This is actually simpler and easier to learn than those other games. Also, like Koi Koi, Mushi is a 2-player game. If there are additional players who want to play, they will have to wait until they can change places with the loser of the last game. The objective of the game is to obtain more points than the other player. Simple as that. The game starts by deciding who will be the Oya, or the dealer, in the game. Each player takes 1 card from the deck. The player with the earliest month becomes the Oya. I took the plum and the other player took an iris, which means I will be the Oya. Next, the Oya shuffles the deck and deals 8 cards to each player's hand and 8 cards on the field face up, and the rest of the deck forms the draw pile. Now, if there are 4 cards of the same suit on the field, the deal is void, and so the Oya must shuffle and deal again. For demonstration purposes, I will be showing the cards in my hand. After the cards are dealt, the Oya begins his turn straight away. There are no Yaku or lucky hands in Mushi. The gameplay during a player's turn is pretty consistent with most Hanafuda games and consists of 3 steps: playing a card from your hand, playing the card from the top of the draw pile, and putting all match cards into your capture pile. At the beginning of my turn, I can choose any 1 card in my hand and play it. For example, I will be playing this full moon card. Now, if my card matches suit with any card on the field, like the geese right here, then I must capture the card by putting my card on top of that card. End of step 1. Or maybe I don't want to play the full moon, I want to play this chrysanthemum instead. Now, there are 2 cards on the field that matches suit with my card. In this situation, I have to choose whether to capture the chrysanthemum junk or the sake cup. I cannot capture both at the same time. End of step 1. Or maybe I don't want to use that, I want to use the maple card instead, which matches 3 cards of the same suit on the field. Now, this is special because if there are 3 cards of the same suit on the field, they can be captured all at once. Ha! Now, what happens if I play a card that doesn't match suit with any cards on the field? That card becomes a card on the field, which can be captured by any player later in the game. So after I have played 1 card from my hand, it's time for step 2. I will take the top card from the draw pile and play it. The same capturing rules from step 1 also applies here. Darn, doesn't match suit with any of cards on the field, oh well. Step 3. I will then take all the cards that have been matched and put them face up into my capture pile, which is the space on the table near me. This marks the end of my turn and the beginning of my opponent's turn. It is advisable to arrange your captured cards by their ranks, so that it would be easier to tally the score at the end of the game. Now let's talk about the junk of Willow. In Mushi, this card is called Oni, or Ogre, or Demon. This is considered the wild card in the game, and it can capture any 1 card from the field, regardless of its suit. However, it cannot be used to capture any card of the Willow suit. Okay, some time has passed and a lot of cards went to our capture piles. It's my turn. I have 3 cards on my hand, one of which is a Paulownia junk, and there's a Paulownia junk on the field as well, so let's take it. Draw a card. Cool, I got the Oni card. Now I can capture any one of the cards on the field I haven't captured yet. Which one should I capture? I decide to capture the Wisteria card. Why? I'll explain later. Some more time has passed and both me and my opponent have played all the cards from our hands, and the draw pile has also disappeared. There are 2 uncapturable cards left on the field. One is a Willow card, and the other is the same suit as the card I've captured with the Oni. First, because the Oni cannot capture Willow cards, using a Willow card to capture another Willow card leaves the 3rd Willow card uncapturable. So that 3rd Willow card goes to the capture pile of the player who captured the other 2 Willows. Second, capturing a card with an Oni card leaves one of the 3 other cards of the same suit as the card captured by the Oni uncapturable. So that card goes to the captured pile of the player who used the Oni. So in short, the Willow card goes to the person who captured 2 Willows, and the non-Willow card goes to the person who used the Oni. And I fall into both categories. Now that the uncapturables had been captured, let's start counting the scores. Each bright is worth 20 points, each animal 10, each scroll 5, and each junk 1. Looks like I got 90 points. But wait, there's more. Just like in other Hanafuda games like Koi Koi and Hawaiian Style, Mushi has Yaku, which are card combinations formed from the cards in your capture pile. If you have one of them, you can steal points from your opponent equal to those Yaku's points. There are 4 Yaku. Yup, only 4, and they're pretty easy to memorize. 5 Brights, the big 3, straight Wisteria, and straight Paulownia. So I have a straight Paulownia, which means I get to steal 10 points from my opponent. And because I used my Oni to capture a Wisteria card, I prevented my opponent from being able to obtain a straight Wisteria Yaku. Except my opponent managed to capture the big 3. That's 25 points away from me. Oh well. In the end, my opponent got 155 points while I only have 75 points, which means my opponent wins and I lose. Bummer. One more thing. I will demonstrate what will happen if the Oni appears on the field. First, the Oni cannot be captured by any card from the hand. So let's capture a different card then. Second, if you drew a card from the draw pile while the Oni is on the field, and it's not a Willow card, you must capture the Oni card. Third, if you drew a Willow card from the draw pile while the Oni is on the field, You cannot use it to capture the Oni. Now it's my opponent's turn. It's an iris, which means the Oni must be captured with it. The game can be played for 1 round, 3 rounds, 6 rounds, or 12 rounds, it doesn't matter. In every successive round, the winner of the last round becomes the next Oya. And after all the rounds, all the scores per round are added, and the player with the highest cumulative score wins the game. And that's all there is to this game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have fun slapping those cards.